Hello and welcome to Knitscents episode 7. My name is Jan. You can find me as Jan Ellen RN on Ravelry, on Instagram, and on Twitter. And we have a Ravelry group, the Knitscents podcast, so I hope you will come and check us out and join us over there. This week we have knitting, spinning, in FO, actually 2 FOs. I'll talk a little bit about Rhinebeck, which was last weekend, which will bring me into our stash enhancement / goodie enhancement, because I was fairly good with the yarn. All right, not totally, but kind of good with the yarn, but I did get some other goodies as well. What else? We have some Scentsy stuff to go over. We have the contest from last week. We'll draw a winner, and we have a new contest for this week. So let's go right on to the knitting. I brought up with me a pair of socks that I had shown last week, which I did not touch. But I also brought up, which I did get some work done on, my Cameo shawl, which is a shawl pattern by Paulina Popiolik, I believe is the way you pronounce her name. And here is a picture of what it looks like finished. This is actually my second one. This is the one on the pattern page. I had knit one last year for Camp Loopy, so this one is my second. And I'm knitting this one from Serenity Silk Singles in the rose and the charcoal colorways. I am absolutely loving the yarn, and I think you can see what my problem with this yarn I'm running into. But here is what I've done so far. I finished the garter section, and I am on to the striping right there. So I got a couple of those rows done. But what I found was happening as I was knitting the garter section. Now, according to the pattern, you're supposed to knit 50, where are the picot, of the picot edges before you start the stripe section. And I noticed that I was knitting away and my ball here was getting smaller and smaller, and I knew I wasn't going to make it. So I checked out some of the project pages, actually all of the project pages from everyone that knit this pattern with this yarn. There weren't too many, but pretty much everyone had the same issue. Now, the yardage on the ball band supposedly would have been enough to knit the pattern as it was written. Of course, I did not do a gauge swatch. I barely do them, and I don't really do them right when I do even a garment. So for sure I wasn't doing one for this. And again, I had knit this before with similar yardage, but I think I did mine out of it was Malabrigo sock, I think, is what I used. But for some reason, I guess this doesn't knit up to gauge. I still haven't actually measured the gauge that I'm getting, but everyone else on their project page had the same issue where they were running short of yarn. So what I did was I stopped after, I believe, 46 picot edges, and again, the picots, I'm totally on the wrong side here, and started my striping. And what I was thinking, I actually was thinking of ripping back some of the garter section, because I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to have to do stripes, but I probably won't. I'm probably just going to go ahead with the stripe section until I actually run out of the gray, and then continue with the rose section, because if I'm shorter on the stripes, I'm kind of okay with that. It is what it is at this point. But the yarn itself, it is so soft. It is a fabulous, absolutely yummy yarn to work with. But again, it says it's a fingering. It absolutely looks like a fingering, but it does not seem to knit up to the gauge, and I probably could have just gone down a needle size, but at this point there's no way I'm ripping this whole puppy out, so it's just going to stay what it is. and it's an enjoyable knit. I love it. This, like I said, is my second one, so I've really been enjoying it. But I think this is going to be actually smaller than my last one, which is fine. I'm okay with that. And the other thing I've been working on since I got back is my Hitofude, which is a cardigan pattern by, let me get this right here, Circo Cowl. And I also pulled, if anybody has not seen that one yet, and I know that that's been knit a lot on Ravelry. Let's see. That's, whoa, okay, geez, that's what it looks like. I have seen this in person. I have tried it on. It is an absolutely amazing pattern. It's, from what I gather, Hitofude means one stroke in Japanese, and the reason she chose that name is because that's literally how you knit this. Supposedly this is going to turn into a cardigan in one piece with no ends to even. In other words, you don't knit the sleeves separately. There's no raglan shaping. It's just sort of knit, and then I guess the sleeves, I think, are folded up like origami kind of thing. It's started with actually 2 provisional cast-ons. You cast on, let's see if I can see where I separated it. Not really. Actually, yeah. There's a small cast on, there we go, provisional cast on here. You knit 1 or 2 rows, and then you cast on provisionally the rest. So what I'm thinking, and I didn't look too far ahead in the pattern, I did glance over it, is that once you've knit the width of the sleeves, you pick up the provisional cast on, knit it together, and then you have the rounded off sleeve. So I think I'm on 10 repeats of the pattern, and I believe for the size I'm making, which is this size large, you have to knit a total of 14, and then go on and shape the sleeves and pick up around the ribbing that goes across the back, and then knit the bottom of it. This is so far a super easy pattern to knit. It's an 8-row lace pattern, and 4 of the rows are just basically knit the knits and purl the pearls. And totally memorizable. It's easy to follow, really fun to knit. So I'm really enjoying knitting on that. And that's basically my knitting progress for the week, which wasn't bad considering I didn't get too much done at Rhinebeck, but I did get some spinning done, which it was great to get back to my wheel. I basically didn't spin for most of the summer, so it's been a long vacation from my wheel, but it's been great to get back. And what I have been working on, I had purchased at Maryland Sheep and Wool, a lovely lady, I don't even know her name. We were both looking at Cormo fleeces, and there was practically nothing left, and there was this gorgeous fleece. But it was large. It was like, I don't know if it was like 6 pounds or 6.5 pounds, something like that, whatever. And she didn't want that much. And honestly, I had never worked with Cormo before, so I didn't want that much. And she was sort of like, well, let's split it. So that was wonderful. So it was my first Cormo fleece. I did wash it and get it all prepped. And I had gotten a drum carder as well. So it was my first time using the drum carder, and I carded up a bunch of these fluffy bats from the Cormo fleece. Unfortunately, because I had a learning curve with the drum carder, I wasted a lot of the fleece, which was okay. It was fine, but I had hopes of a garment out of this, but it probably isn't the best yarn to use for it. So now I'm hoping that I get enough for a lace. I'd love to do an Estonian lace shawl out of what I can spin from this. So here is what I have so far. Okay, that's the bobbin's worth, and you can see it's spinning up into a pretty fine lace weight, and I'm planning on 2-plying this to keep it a lace to a light fingering. And then I'd love to knit this again, like I said, into one of Nancy Bush's Estonian lace patterns, depending on the yardage that I get. Will probably determine the pattern because I'm not sure how much this is going to spin into, but this will end up being a 2-ply. I have been spinning this on my matchless wheel, and this I've been doing long draw. I've been spinning this woolen in Scotch tension, which I don't usually use. I do prefer to use double drive on my wheel, but again, like I said, I have been using Scotch tension on it because it's very, to me, it's difficult to spin to get enough take up to do woolen spinning on the matchless. I find that I just don't get the take up with it. So I've been spinning this on my matchless once I cleaned it off, which I will show you in a second because I do have finished objects. So that's what I had been spinning on, but we're going to, I think that covers it. So we're going to move into finished objects. And one of my finished objects is, it's not been washed or thwacked yet, but this is what I did finish this. I was working on this since I got back from Rhinebeck. And this goes to show how long it's been on here. This is from the Knit Girls had a spin along back in, before the summer started, and I was gonna spin this up and knit it up, and it just sat there. But I did get it done, and this is fiber from Three Waters Farms. This is a Polworth silk, 85 Polworth, 15% silk in the Honky Tonk colorway. I did a simple 2-ply on this. Let's see if I hold it really still, if you can see that. And what I did with the fiber, it's got different shades of blue and gray, and then different shades of brown. I'm trying to hold it still. For some reason, this isn't going to focus today. What I did, because I didn't want the colors to muddy and I didn't want to chain ply it, I wanted to do a 2-ply. So what I did with this was I separated out all of the blues together and the grays, and then I separated all of the browns. And then when I spun it, I spun the blues kind of like shades together. So if it was a darker blue and I finished it, I picked up another darker blue that went into maybe the lighter blue, and then I picked up the lighter blue. So I tried to keep the colors together, and then I did the same on a different bobbin with the browns, and I plied them together. And what I like is that it did come out, I mean, I wanted the barber pulling, I expected that, but you can see that the colors pop a bit. They're not muddied, which is what I didn't want. So I was really, really happy with how this came out. I didn't count the yardage, but I'm gonna say it's probably in about the 300 and something yard range. I will calculate that out when I wash it and I thwack it. And it's definitely, I would say, a light fingering weight. So I was absolutely thrilled to get this done and get it off my wheel. I had it on there, like I said, forever. So this was finished. I started on my Cormo, and I also started on a different, on my, what am I doing it on? My Sidekick, which I didn't take out, but I will bring next time. It was, it's a Nidian color, beautiful color, so I will show that next time. So again, this is my finished spinning object, and that's done. And I also finished, and this is the other thing I was working on when I got back. It's still damp because I'm still in the process of blocking it, but I finished my Circo Cowl, and I absolutely love the way it came out. No, I did not weave in my ends. I will though, because I do want to wear it, but this is how it came out. And I'm trying to make sure that it looks like it's focusing. There we go. Yeah, there we go. The yarn just fluffed up and lightened up. This is so light. I was shocked, even with the beads. It was a fun knit. There we go. So you can see it has the half twist in it, right in the front, and I'm going to just pop it on because I just so love the way this came out. You probably could, yep, you can double it. It's a tight fit, but if you wanted to, you could absolutely double this. Otherwise, it's a great length cowl. I was surprised. I thought maybe it would come like down to here, but it's not. It's a longer cowl, and absolutely love, love, love the way this came out. So there's my progress, my finished object. This was knit out of Knit Circus in the Greatest of Ease colorway in the in the Greatest of Ease base in the Moody Blues colorway. And that again was from the Laura Nelkin M Club. This was the last knit along. So I'm looking forward to the 2016 club, and I love the way that came out. So that's my finished objects. Let's see, what else do we have on the agenda? Last weekend was the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival, Rhinebeck, New York, and it was a fabulous, fabulous, fun weekend. The weather was perfect for me. It was so nice and cool. Saturday was cool. It was great for knitwear. It wasn't too hot in the buildings and in the barns. Sunday was colder, and Sunday it actually flurried. It actually did snow for a brief period of time, which for me was wonderful. It was cold out, I will say that, but I think everyone was bundled in their knitwear. Saturday and Sunday, Ravelry had meetups on the hill where they usually do, so it was great to see so many old friends and to meet so many new friends. So we really had a wonderful, wonderful time. Again, if you ever have the opportunity to go, it's a great festival. I did not think, everybody was saying they thought it was more crowded than usual on Saturday, and I thought actually just the opposite. Maybe we hit things at the right time, but well, I guess partly that is because we started out in the food barn where I said I was going to head. So, and it wasn't too terrible in there in the beginning. I think everyone was running for the yarn. And we kind of steered away from the really popular booths where I guess there were really horrendous lines, because we've learned in the past that unless you want to stand on line, go to the smaller ones first. And that worked out very, very well. So again, if you go for your first time, that's a little hint, unless you really, really, really want one particular thing. And from what I understand, Miss Babs, that line is always phenomenal. But the colorway, the Rhinebeck colorway, from what I understand, was sold out within like 10 or 15 minutes. So that to me wasn't worth standing on the line for, but we did hit the Miss Babs booth, as I will show you. So all of this leads me into stash and goodie enhancement. And I thought pretty good. I thought I did pretty well. I wasn't going to get yarn. I only got a couple of skeins, and you'll see what I got and why. So like I said, let's just start off with the goodies. I hit the food booth right away. I am not going to show you the wine and the cheese that we brought back, but that was the first thing we went to. I also go every year. There is a gentleman there that sells spices, and I found him the first year that we went, and I have gone to that booth every single year, and I stock up since then. And now he does have a website, so if you want to try these spices, you can go to his website. Let me just see. I think it is Kissed by the Sun Spices.com. Let me just make sure. Don't tell me it's not even on the label. It's not. Yes. Kissed by the Sun Spice Companies, CO. Kissed by the Sun Spiceco.com. And what I started with the first time I went was the seasoned salt, which I stocked up and got 2 of, because this this is just amazing. I love this. It does not have that bottled spice taste when you put it on food. It actually just has a fresh herb, salt, pepper taste. So I stocked up on these. I also got, this is another one that I absolutely love from him. It's called Sizzlin' Steak. And it's also a seasoned, this is more of a seasoned pepper, but it's got large piece, not whole peppercorns, but large pieces of pepper. And what I do with this one, especially, I like dry rub or marinate steaks and roasts in this, and then either barbecue or bake them in the oven. And this stuff is just fabulous. So we got that. I got more of that. And this was a new one I'm going to try, which is black pepper and herb. And it's basically a sweet pepper. I don't think this has salt in it. It's just herbs. Let's see. Organic black pepper, rosemary, oregano, thyme, garlic, and it does, and kosher sea salt. So I guess it does have a bit of salt in it, but not the other ones. The other ones are more seasoned salt. This is more of a pepper with a little salt in it. So I haven't tried this one yet, but I can't wait to try it. All of his spices are amazing. He also has a garlic and herb, which I wasn't sure how to use, and he said to just use it like you would use garlic powder. And I have been using it. I used it on chicken, I used it on roast beef, and it's amazing. So anyway, that is from the Kissed by the Sun Spice Company. So that we got that. And then this adorable lady was selling in one of the booths homemade jam. And I saw blueberry jam, which is my favorite, and I had to. So I haven't tried it yet because I didn't want to take the cute lid off, but I got a jar of blueberry jam. So that was another thing. And then also in the food barn, I got myself this guy was selling, and there's a couple of vendors in there that sell wooden serving boards, cutting boards, wooden utensils, but I saw this one and I actually just fell in love with it. It was a handmade cutting board. I sadly left and thought that I had the information for the company or the vendor that sold it, but I didn't. So I'm gonna have to look on the vendor list and see if the name rings a bell or if I can find out. But at any rate, it's just an absolutely lovely, smooth cutting / serving board. But I liked it. So we got that one. So that was the end of the goodies. And then I wasn't going to purchase yarn at the festival. I knew I was going to the Jill Draper Open House Studio, which we did go. And it was wonderful. She had a lovely open house. Lauren Nelkin was there, so we got to see her again and say hi. But just walking in and seeing all of the yarn that Jill dyes by herself, she dyes every single skein. And when I saw that, now I had taken at SSK this past summer, I had taken a class in dyeing. And I have to say, I walked out of that class with an absolutely new respect. And I've always known that indie dyers really do it for the passion. It is a labor of love. But after taking that dyeing class and failing so miserably at it, I'm not even going to show what I dyed, because it was just, let's just say if there was any way to mess it up, I did. But I had fun doing it, and again, it was a great way to find out that it definitely is not something for me. But walking into that studio and seeing all of those skeins that she dyed by herself was so overwhelming that you just develop more of an appreciation for the yarn. But I did see, and I had known that she was going to have this in her shop, and when I saw it up close and personal, I had to get it. This is Riften, and it's showing up, I don't know why, like purple. There is absolutely no bluish purple in this whatsoever. I don't know if I could, what this color is. Let's see, does she have the name of the colorway? The name actually isn't on here. There were only a few colorways. It says Made with Love. I don't know if that's, actually I think that's her logo. I don't think that's the name of the colorway. what it is it's natural colored sheep, undyed, and I see why it's coming up bluish, because this is actually purple in here. It's showing up like bright blue purple, but it's not. It's a deep purple color and then a rose color. So what it is it's natural brown sheep colors in a gradient with this. It's not anywhere near this bright. It's a deep, deep purple here, and then this light peachy rose color that she dyed here. Absolutely beautiful skein, and this is 600 yards. I saw this and I was like, all right, we knew we were going to get something here. So that's what I ended up getting at the Jill Draper studio. And believe me, I could have walked out of there with several sweater quantities of yarn. It was just so, so beautiful. So that was from that. And then on Sunday, my daughter wanted to go to the Miss Babs booth, which was actually by even early, because we left relatively early, so it was pretty much by late morning, early afternoon on Sunday. There was really no line. It was very easy. We actually got a chance to speak to Miss Babs, but she was going to go into the booth, and I did not want to be tempted, so I stood outside. And while I was standing outside, I saw this lady wearing this absolutely stunning poncho, and it just looked beautiful on her. So I figured, all right, I'm going to go over and ask her what pattern it was. So I went over to ask her, and as it turned out, it was a sample from the Miss Babs booth. And as soon as I saw that, down the rabbit hole I went. So I'm going to show you the pattern and what it looks like. It is the, what is it called? Sheldon poncho. Oh, you knew this couldn't go too smooth, right? Okay, here we go. Okay, that's on the pattern page. Let's see if I can get a better picture of it. Hold up. It is a poncho a pattern by Ella Austin. And for some reason here we go. That's a better picture right there. And I saw it knit up out of the Miss Babs Yowza, and that was it. Into the booth I went and down the rabbit hole. So what I got was, and in the sample that I saw knit up was knit up out of a variegated and a semi-solid. So that's what I got. I didn't get the colors that the sample was knit up in, though. I got the variegated is Coffee Break, which is a color that I love and I've always wanted to try. So that's Coffee Break. And then this one is Black Watch, which picks up the blue in the Coffee Break just perfectly. So these two skeins, these are Miss Babs Yowza Base, Coffee Break, and Black Watch colorway will be that Sheldon poncho, which I will put on the needles. Probably not even going to wait to finish something else. So that was the other yarn that I got at Rhinebeck. That was it, only the 3 skeins, so that was pretty good. And the other thing, so the last thing I got at Rhinebeck is a book by Corinna Ferguson. I did have the chance to meet her at the book signing, and she was kind enough to sign the book for me. It's called Warm Days, Cool Knits. And it's basically a book for people who live in warmer climates, knitwear designed for just that, for warmer climates. But some of these, this was just perfect for me because I'm not a fan of heavy knitted wear, even though I don't live in a particularly warm climate. These patterns were just perfect for me. They're lighter weight sweaters, which is something that I prefer. There were shawl patterns in here. I believe there's a sock pattern in here. And they were just absolutely beautiful. I want to just see if I can find the one pattern that absolutely just sold me on this book. Let's see, it was a shawl. I should have marked it before. I didn't think. I was too prepared. Here it is. It's an asymmetrical wrap. And I saw this and just I'm not sure if that's focusing too well. It's called, what is the name of this pattern? Mayella. And that's another picture of it, which I just absolutely loved the pattern. So there were a number of really, really, really nice patterns in this book, so I would absolutely highly recommend it. Like I said, I've knit some of her patterns before. They're very well written, very easy to follow. So this is the last thing I purchased at Rhinebeck. Again, it was a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We had a great time. And I would highly recommend going if you've never been. There were two other things that I did get. One was in the mail. Well, actually both came in the mail. One came, I think, while I was gone, and it was my Yarn Box subscription. But I had to show this because first I opened the box and I was like, what am I going to do with this? And then I saw the pattern and I went crazy. So it's 3 skeins, three skeins, 2 of the black and 1 of the white of, let me see, this is Andy's Merino 2 is the name of the yarn. It's hand-dyed merino, a single ply in worsted, but it says worsted, and they did list it in Yarn Box as worsted toward Aran. I think this is more toward an Aran weight. It's 175 yards per skein. And again, some people got different colors. Some people got green, some people got a blue. I got 2 of the black and 1 of the white, which was perfect because this is the pattern that came this month. This is the knitted pattern. It is by Laura Barek, and it is for a brioche hat. And basically what it is, knit in 2 pieces. The top is brioche, just like a regular cap style brioche. And then there is this braided piece that you sew on, or I know it's knit separately. It's actually knit in 2 pieces, and then I think it's twisted. But I saw this, and that I had to knit it because I've kind of fallen in love with brioche, and black and white, can't beat that combo. So I absolutely love this pattern. I love the yarn. I cannot wait to knit that up. So that was one. And the other thing that came in the mail was actually a gift. That was a spice hitting the deck. It's okay. This, my friends had gotten for me for my birthday, which I thought was just the best idea ever. They adopted me in alpaca. Not the whole alpaca, sadly, but I don't think that would have gone over too big here. But from Alma Park Farms, she has this thing where you can adopt an alpaca. And what that does is she will shear the alpaca and blend his fiber if you want it blended with silk, whatever you want it blended with a color, with a solid, and then send you the bats and a little booklet about the alpaca. And that came this week, and I was super, super excited. I got 4 bats that look like this. They are blended. I'm losing the light here, and this is the only room where I actually have some natural light coming in, but it's getting later in the afternoon, so I'm getting more of a glare than light. But it's basically fawn colored alpaca that maybe that's better. There we go, that's a little bit better. That she blended with silk and drum carded herself into these beautiful 1 ounce bats, and I got 4 of them, which I thought, and the cutest book about the alpaca, whose name happens to be Romeo. So I thought that was just an amazingly fabulous idea, and I absolutely love it. I cannot wait to spin it up. So as soon as I'm done working on my Cormo or clear off my other wheel, I will start to spin up on Romeo. So that's it. That's all I have for that, thank goodness. I do have some Scentsy business. I did get, and actually that's kind of why I'm recording as late as I am in the afternoon, because I was waiting for the UPS man. I did get the November warmer of the month, but before I show you that, I just want to remind everybody that the October warmer of the month, which is the football that I have over there, is one of the choices. It's still available until the 31st of October, so that is the choice of either the football, which is touchdown, the soccer ball, which is goal, the baseball, which is home run, and the basketball, which is slam dunk. It is your choice. They are $31.50 each, and again, those are available for the rest of the month of October, along with the October warm scent of the month, which is Toffee Butter Crunch, which is a wonderful home-baked toffee smell. And if you love toffee nut lattes, that you have a good idea of what it smells like. It kind of smells exactly like that tastes. So that is the October warmer of the month, but I do want to give you a sneak peek at the November warmer of the month, which will be available. Oh gosh, this is in pieces here, so let me just take it one at a time. It will be available as of November 1st, but I know that this warmer is going to be very, very popular warmer. So what I will do is I will take pre-orders starting now, and what I will do is I will hold the pre-orders until the 1st of November, literally at midnight, and then I will submit the orders. So if you want to be sure of getting one of these warmers, I will put my email address up top, but let me just show you the warmer first. It is a mason jar style. Now I'm going to see if I can get it. And it's 4 different winter holiday themes, one on each side. So there's your children decorating a tree in the back. There is your sledding with your city lantern and a tree on the top. Here is your building a snowman in the front. And then we have a cottage scene on the other side there. Now this is a ceramic, just pull there, okay. It is ceramic, as you can tell, but it is a matte finish. This is not a shiny glazed finish. This is a very, very matte white finish. And it's in the style of a mason jar, but this is also the white finish and totally matte along the top. And you can see the center part where you put your wax, this is shiny, okay? And that's so that you can more easily remove the wax. Now I'm gonna turn it on, but I'm not sure if this is just gonna hit with a big blaze of light, but it's difficult to show, and I'm not sure that holding it further away. But what I'm trying to, here, maybe that's a little bit better, is what this does, and it's much, much brighter on the screen than it actually is in real life. This just glows. It glows a very creamy white color. And you can see very clearly, because it's matte, each of the scenes, which it's not really, you can't really see on the camera, and I'm not sure that closing my lights would make this any easier to show. Let's see if I stand up and hold it away. No, that's not making matters any better. But at any rate, when you light it, it basically just glows from the inside. And you can see the light from these cutouts here, but because this is matte, when you turn it on, you can see each one of these scenes really, really beautifully from the outside. And again, you have your top, which is smooth glazed, so that you can easily remove your wax. So this will be available as of November 1st. I'm looking for, in my pile of hot mess here, here we go. The fragrance of the month is Winter Cypress, which is such a unique fragrance. It's a cool wintry smell. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a very cool, there's a little bit of spice, and I believe a hint of raspberry in there. So it is a very, very cool, very wintry, warm, spiced smell. It's absolutely unique. I've never smelled a fragrance like this before. I would absolutely burn this in the cooler months, in the winter. It's a wonderful, wonderful, I smell a little pine in there too. I think there must be some pine fragrance in it. Again, it's called Winter Cypress. And this again will be the scent of the month for for November, and available on November 1st. And again, I will take pre-orders for this. And what you need to do, since you can't get it as of yet on my website, as of November 1st, you can go on my website, which I will list below, and you will be able to order it. Again, I don't know how, I have no way of telling, but I can see that this is going to be a very, very popular warmer. So if you would like to place a pre-order, what you need to do is email me, and I'm going to put my email address below. It is jan@knitscents.com. Send me an email, and I will tell you how I can take PayPal. You can mail me a check. I don't know if it would get here in time for me. It would have to get here before November 1st, essentially, for me to then put it together and place the order on November 1st. So anybody that pre-orders it with me, I will put that order in as soon as it becomes available on November 1st. This spatula makes removing your wax so super simple. And this particular jar, I've always been a fan. I usually take the dishes and either put them in the freezer, or I will take the warm wax, because the Scentsy wax melts at such a low temperature, it immediately hardens when it hits anything. It's not going to burn anything. Again, this is the reason why we love Scentsy so much, because it is just such a safe way to fragrance your house. So what I also do is I will take the wax while it's still warm and liquid and just pour it into the garbage pail, because again, as soon as it hits in there, it's not going to melt the plastic bag. It's just going to harden, and then take a dry paper towel and wipe out the remaining wax in the warmer. That's usually how I do it. But what I have found the easiest way is when the warmer is cool, when it's just sitting before you go to put a new fragrance in. I found that this is the simplest, easiest way to remove the wax. Like I said, it doesn't have to be frozen. It doesn't have to be liquid, just at room temperature. I take this and I run it around the edge, and by the time I'm halfway around, it's popped right out. And then you can use the spatula end to just wipe out anything that's left. This tool is amazing. You can take this when it's even liquid. If you want to pour it off, use the spatula. This is the best tool for removing the wax. From last week, the contest was for this braid of Into the World in the Carth colorway. It is 4 to 4.3 ounces of Falkland. And I'm getting terrible glare here, which means that it's time for me to stop talking and finish up. So I am going to pull up, let's see, what we had here, which is, I believe there were 3 entries. Let's see. Yep, there were 3 entries. So I am going to put in to my random number generator numbers 2 to 4. So we have a new one on this phone this week. So numbers 2 to 4, and we will hit generate. Yes, generate. Generate. Okay, I don't know why this is not generating. And number 4. Okay, so let's try this again. Numbers 2 to 4, and we will hit generate, and it is number 4. Okay, so number 4 is Try Linda. I just sent you a package. Favorite sport, Try Linda says, my favorite sport is skiing, both downhill and cross country. I love snow. I love snow too. And that's why I was in my glory at Rhinebeck. It actually did snow. So Try Linda, I already have your address, so I will get this out to you. All right. For next week's contest, I am going to put up a thread for this skein that I spun, for my hand spun. Again, I will make sure that I get at least close to the yardage. I will measure this out. I will have it washed and thwacked. But next week's contest is for my skein of hand spun. Let's see, I'm in the glare over here. So that's what we're going to put up. And my prompt for this thread will be, because the Thanksgiving holiday is coming up in the States in a couple of weeks, tell us what your favorite recipe is for Thanksgiving. So if you would like, we'd love to have the recipe if you can take the time to include it in the thread. But what I'm going to ask is that you let us know what is your favorite Thanksgiving recipe. So that will be for next week's contest for my skein of hand spun. And actually, the colors are showing up really good in this like spot of sun that's coming in here. So there you can see it. It's in turquoise and blues and browns. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm hoping that I will be able to record next week, but I'm not sure due to some family's health issues and whatnot next week. So I'm hoping I will be able to record. We'll have to play that by ear. It may be at best a little bit late. I may be recording next weekend instead of on Friday, but we'll see. So until I see you, hope you have a wonderful week. And as always, knit with sense.